Good morning. Good morning. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a morning coffee and then come live again, but I just decided to do this. So let me say hi. I'm going to come on camera for a minute so you guys can see that I'm still alive. And well, you know I'm alive, but I'm looking better. Good morning. I'm still tired. Good morning. And I'm doing laundry. Good morning, everybody. So I'm here and I did something dumb last night. I slept with my window open because I wanted fresh air. And now I'm sniffling. So I'm a smart ass. I tell you, I'm really smart. Good morning, Drea. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Patricia. Pretty Monita. Gwen Branston. Carter. Hi, sweetie. Mama's the boss. Colleen with the K. Susan Dawson. Did I say your name, Susan? I don't remember. See, that's what drugs do to you. Let me stop saying that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, Drew Peterson has been in the news lately. And I don't know if a lot of you remember the case, but if you don't, we're going to walk it back. And we're going to discuss this disgrace piece of doo-doo. It's kind of early in my stream to curse, so I'm going to wait for a minute. So this is Drew Peterson. There we go. There's Drew. He's now 70. That is Drew. Look at him. Oh, look at Drew. We're going to see what Drew used to look like too, but that is Mr. Peterson, the murderer. That's him, the murderer. That is him. So I have my water, I have my tea. I think I'm good to go. So let's see what else is going on. Pretty Monita, I caught your live the other day for a bit, then I had to go back in because I jumped in real quick because Savage was live, and then I caught your replay. You did good, you and your scammer. I'm gonna have to send you a message. I need to borrow some money. Look, can you borrow me? Patricia, it is so good to see you. Let's see. What else is there? Okay, so let's get into Drew. So I'm going to show you why Drew is back in the news, and then we're going to walk through his case again, because this man, yeah, he said, borrow me, not loan me, but borrow me. I was like, whoa, that's a new term right there. Borrow me. You had me rolling. He is a real piece of shit. I can say it now. It's been over 30 seconds. He's a real piece of shit. And when I used to watch, you know, when they would do the news coverage of him, you know, he was always smiling like he had no care in the world. And let me tell you, I was in Bambi's live earlier, but now they're talking about politics. I was so caught up in this Billy the Kid stuff, didn't realize that I was way behind in her stream. But after the Billy Kid stuff went off, I realized, I said, wait a minute, I'm way back in her stream. But now they're discussing politics. And Doom said that Michelle Obama said that she wouldn't run for office. She's not running because the Democratic Party never asked her. That is far from not. That is not true. She said years ago that she wasn't interested in running for the office of president. So it wasn't because they didn't ask her. She's not interested in running. Hi, Michelle LaBelle. I was like, wait a minute. She never said that. Come on, Doom. I don't know where you're getting that stuff from. But okay, so let's get into Drew. So let me pull this up. Let me tell you why this man is now back in the news, okay? So I was like, okay, let me go here. Let me share this screen. And this is going to give you a little bit of why he's back in the news, but then we're going to walk his case back. So I'm going to wait till it pops up. I'm waiting till it pops up. Okay. Let me take myself down so you can see it. Ooh, why am I that big? Okay. I don't know why I'm that big. Full screen. Okay. There we go. This is why Drew is back in the news again.
Turned 70 years old last month. He's been in prison for a decade now, serving a 38-year sentence after being convicted of killing his third wife, Kathleen Savio. He has been trying to get that conviction overturned the last several years, claiming he was poorly represented by his then attorney, Joel Brodsky, who he says refused to have him testify in his own defense during the trial. ABC 7 legal analyst Gil Sofer.
Now, this same attorney said a year ago that he was thinking about putting out a book about all Drew's secrets. Okay, so you can't do that unless, well, he's retired now, so I guess it doesn't matter, but that's attorney-client privilege. I want to see, I was waiting for that to come in. Good morning, Alvin Watkins. I wanted to see how that was going to work. Yes, he is still in prison. He's not eligible for parole until 2081. He got 38 years for Kathleen Savio and 40 years for murder for hire for trying to have the prosecutor, what's his name, Douglas something, Cade. So yes, he is still in jail and he's not going anywhere, but he's trying to get a fitness hearing.
Says Peterson's chances of getting a new trial.
There he is. Look at him, looking good.
It's a very, very, very high hurdle, and especially in this case.
Peterson is also serving a 40-year sentence for trying to have the Will County State's attorney, James Glasgow, killed from prison. Peterson is the prime suspect, though he's never been charged in the disappearance of his fourth wife, Stacy Peterson. She's now been missing for 16 years. Her body has never been found.
We would like to see justice at some point. We don't know that we'll ever get it.
Norma Peterson, married to Drew Peterson's brother, believes he is guilty. She now has a group called Document the Abuse, helping victims of domestic abuse.
If we can change one other person's outcome so that it doesn't get to that extent.
Another former Peterson attorney, Steve Greenberg, told me he wishes his former client success in court. Peterson is now represented by a public defender who asked the judge for a fitness evaluation, a step in the process of asking for a new trial.
A new trial is hard to get in the best of circumstances, let alone a new trial a decade after the conviction, after multiple efforts to get a new trial.
The judge ordered Will County to facilitate and pay for Drew Peterson's evaluation. The results due in 30 days, at which point Peterson is expected back in court.
Watch breaking news.
Okay, so that's why Peterson is back in the news. Now, they have a manhunt going on. So let's just go back through his case. Okay, this is a piece of, he's been married 4 times. Okay, he has 6 kids. 6 kids. He had 2 with Savio. He had 2 with Stacy, who's now missing, a boy and a girl. He had 2 boys with Kathleen, and then his first wife, Carol Brown, he had 2 boys with. So Stephen, the oldest of the kids, were taking care of the other 4 kids in the home that Drew shared with Stacy when she went missing. So in 74, well, let me see, and he married Carol, which was his high school sweetheart. And then they married in 1974. They stayed married for 6 years. Within that marriage, they had those 2 sons. And then in 1980, they got divorced because she found out he was having an affair. Guess who he was having an affair with? The second wife. Okay, that was Vicky Connolly, the one that accused him of trying to kill her during Kathleen Savio's murder trial. Okay, the second wife he married in 1982. They got divorced in 1992. Now, during that marriage, he was thrown off the police force. Okay, and then he was rehired, but he was thrown off because they were supposedly building this case against a major drug peddler, and then he ran afoul. He ignored his higher ups, did what he wanted to do, and he got stripped of his badge. Okay, when they investigated, well, he was working for Bolingbrook. This is in Illinois, and the Fire and Police Commission found that he was guilty of official misconduct, disobedience, failure to report a bribe, and self-assigned police action. So he assigned himself all of these tasks without telling his higher-ups. So they fired him. The next year, the judge, reviewed it, overturned the commission's ruling, and he was returned to duty. So he was disgraced, and I don't know how they returned him to duty, but they did. Now, when the case was going on for Kathleen, Curley testified that Peterson, he had pulled a gun on her like 3 or 4 times. He had put her up against the wall in the garage, grabbed her by the throat, and told her he would kill her and make it look like an accident. So they got divorced in 1992, right? Yeah. Guess who he was having an affair with when he divorced Connolly? Kathleen Savio. This man has never been faithful to any woman. Good morning, Black Hat. I hope you're doing good. Oh, hi, Mari. Hi, Zio Lesso. Good morning. Good morning, damn it, Mandy. Good morning. I have been, I think about Drew sometimes, but when I was watching the news and he popped up and I said, oh, I need to walk back this case. So let me see, did I miss anybody else? Oh, you got one of Savage's songs? Girl, my song is Drive a Prostitute. I miss my pimp. I really miss my pimp. I'm sorry. Okay, this is serious. You see, I'm feeling better. I'm laughing. Let's see what else. So let me see. So he was having the affair. Hi, Debbie. He was having the affair with Kathleen Savio. Okay. Kathleen Savio. It's Savio, Savio. So she married him in 1992. I mean, sorry. He divorced Connolly in 1992. I'm just, oh, Lord. I got to get my notes together. Okay. So during the relationship that he had with Kathleen, okay, they had an 11-year relationship. Yeah, he did marry Kathleen in 92. He did, and they divorced in 2003. Okay, I have to get my notes straight. So during their marriage, during Kathleen and Drew's marriage, the cops, now remember, Drew was a police officer. They had the cops to their home 18 times for domestic disturbances. 18 times. 18 times. So Kathleen is the one that, supposedly was found deceased in the bathtub, and her fingernails were dried, No. Yeah, the bathtub itself was dry, but the fingernails were all pruny. Her hair was wet with blood. There was a 1-inch cut to the back of her head. And the police figured, she slipped and fell. And the water had just drained out the tub, right? The water just drained out the tub. So, interesting. So they ruled her death an accidental drowning. But on this coroner's jury, it was a really good friend of Peterson's that was on that jury. He was there. Real good friend. So on the in the indictment, what they stated was on Sunday evening, February 29th, 2004, Drew attempted to return his funds to Kathleen after a weekend visitation. Now, they had been to divorce court and everything else, and the marriage was finally dissolved in 2003, but they were going to go back to court in April in 2004, April 6, 2004, to determine child support, maintenance, division of property, everything. That was scheduled April 6, 2004. April 6 now. On February 29th, 2004, is when that Drew said he tried to return the sons to Kathleen, and she wasn't answering, so she couldn't be reached. So then he called the locksmith, not thinking she might be out of town. He called the locksmith. He had some of her neighbors. They entered the home. That's when they discovered her in the bathtub. Now, how did he know she wasn't there? How did he know she was in the bathtub? How did you know to go in that home? She could have just been running late. She could have been out with friends. She could have went out of town, and she just wasn't back in time. That's what I want to know. You went through all of this because you couldn't get a hold of her because you were there and she wasn't home. That made no sense to me when I heard it. Now, during the time he was married to Kathleen, he was 47 years old. And he was having an affair with 17-year-old Stacy, who became the fourth wife. Yeah, he put her there, Drea. Stacy became the fourth wife after he and Kathleen divorced. Okay, he doesn't give anybody time to do anything. So he and Kathleen divorced in 2003. Now let's remember, he was having an affair with Stacy. She was 17 years old. And then in 2003, once his divorce was finalized from Kathleen, he married Stacy. At this time, Stacy is 19 years old, and they had 2 children, a little boy and a little girl. Okay, but after Kathleen's death, which was weeks after he married Stacy, a year after he married Stacy, he divorced. Stacy adopted Drew's kids that he had with Kathleen. Hi, Crafton with D. This man is busy. He's a busy body. He can't seem to stay faithful. He can't seem to stay in a marriage. That's 4 wives right there. 4 wives right there. So this man was always looking cheerful when he was interviewing. He was like, this is after Stacy went missing. He said he had to stay positive, but now Stacy seemed to have known what Drew allegedly knew what Drew did to Kathleen. she told, was it the priest or the pastor, whoever the clergyman was, that he had gone over to Kathleen's house. Allegedly, she told this to the clergyman, that he had gone over to Kathleen's house the night before. They didn't live that far away from each other, to try to talk to her about the upcoming hearing. When he came home, his clothes were soaked. They were soaked. Now, 2 days before Stacy went missing, good morning, Grass Toucher. Yeah, I remember that. He was going to do a winter date with Drew Peterson. Yeah, I'm glad there was no takers on that. Now, supposedly, allegedly, she told this to her sister, and she told this to a clergyman, that it was like 2 days before she disappeared, that she told Drew she wanted a divorce. She said he was controlling, he was jealous, he was tracking her on her GPS, on her cell phone, and she went missing 4 years after they were married in October. She went missing. According to Peterson, she called him and told him she was taken off with another man. But when he told the cops that she had got up early that morning and she was going to go help a friend paint her house. Okay? She was going to go help a friend paint. And I was like, which one is it, Drew? Did she run off with another man, or did she go help paint the house? So then he also stated that she probably wasn't using her cell phone because she knows it can be tracked. But she told the clergyman that she knew he was tracking her on her GPS, on her cell phone. So all of a sudden now, she's not going to be using it because she's going to get tracked. She didn't use any credit cards. She hasn't shown her ID. She wasn't seen by anyone else. So she just dropped off the face of the earth because she didn't want you to find her. Got you. So after Stacy disappeared, they decided to exhume Kathleen's body. Now remember, they had ruled her death an accidental drowning. Now I'm trying to figure out, why didn't they see this before? When they exhumed her body 3 years after she was already dead and buried, okay? Yes, I saw the interview with Drew's son and his fiance, and he said he knew his dad was guilty. I saw that. And I do have the CNN thing, Married to a Murderer. Yes. Grass Toucher, you are behind in the chat. You are behind. Can somebody type in the chat that Grass Toucher is behind, please? Grass Toucher, you are behind. Stephen did take over the 4 kids, the 2 he had with Kathleen and the 2 he had with Stacy. The 2 with Kathleen, as of 2017, have moved out, and he still has custody of the 2 he had with Stacy. So don't know why Stacy's family didn't take the kids, but don't know why. I don't know. But when they exhumed Kathleen's body, they found she had bruises and scrapes were found all over her body. She had a massive stab wound in her scalp. And then I'm like, how do you rule her death as an accidental drowning? Hi, Knitting with Amanda Panda, when she's got these bruises and scrapes and this massive, remember they said it was like a 1-inch gash, but now they're saying it's a massive stab on her scalp. And then the coroner ruled her death a homicide. and said it was due to a struggle as she was being drowned. I'm like, really? It took you 3 years to do that. When I was just like, wait a minute. It took you 3 years. Hi, Mama's the boss. I think I spoke to you. I'm not sure. 3 years to do this. So this is after Stacy disappeared. Stacy disappeared. Then the prosecutor said, okay, we're going to exhume Kathleen's body, even though people were telling them, hey, this is not what happened. Now, the night that the morning after Stacy was reported missing, her son said that the mother and father had a really bad argument, and he woke up that morning, his mother wasn't there. His mother was not there. Now, at the time when all of this was going on, Drew Peterson's son, Stephen, was a cop. And he was fired from Oak Brook because he allegedly withheld information regarding his father's relationship with Stacy after she disappeared. Okay. They also said that he had stored his father's guns and some checks that were totaling more than $200,000 because his father told him that they would probably search, and he was worried that it might end up being damaged. Now, how are you going to damage a check? I don't know. How are you going to damage checks? Okay. So Stephen lost his marriage and his job behind his father. He lost his wife and his job. At this time, Stephen said he knew his father was probably guilty of killing both Stacy and Kathleen. I'm just, that was an interview on Lifetime, which is the one that Grass Toucher was talking about. He said at one point he had believed that Kathleen had drowned. And then when Stacy supposedly, and that Stacy had left his father, you know, he said that, you know, this is your dad. You really don't think about it. You know, you believe what your father is saying. And then he said he couldn't believe that his dad had put him in such a bad position. And when he was in that interview, he said, this is the first time I have ever said this out aloud. He probably did it. Now, not funny, but Stacy and Drew had a daughter, and they named their daughter Lacey. They named their daughter Lacey Peterson. Oh, I was talking about the Lifetime. Yeah, I'm not going to play somebody else's stuff. Hi, Stacy A. Hi, jet lag. But so, you know, when I was going through this, and I'm like, okay, so I found this on when I was going through some stuff, and I found this. You know, I wanted to walk back that timeline, and I found this on CNN, and it said, oh, I think I did it, married to a murderer. Okay. I found this, and I was like, oh my God. I knew about the Lifetime special they had. I watched it on Dateline. I've watched his son's, why isn't it coming up? Oh, because it's black. Okay. I thought maybe I did something wrong. So I watched his son's interview, but let's just take a look at CNN. I said fair use. Let me get the link and let me put this in the chat. Fair use. We're going to commentate on this little story. Oh, that's right. I'm doing it on 2 channels. I forgot about that. Because I keep forgetting to do shit on my true crime channel. I really, really do. Then I have trash talking when I want to drag somebody, and I always seem to do it on my main channel, and I really, really need to stop that. So Drew Peterson is now serving 78 years. Okay. He got 38 years for Kathleen, and he got 40 years for murder for hire for the prosecutor. Now, I don't know how he got 2 more years more for a murder for hire than what he did for an actual murder that he did commit. But that's 78 years. He's not eligible for parole until 2081 or 2084. I can't remember. But 78 years. We know he's not going to make that. He's already 70. So let's look at this real quick.
Leaving in his wake 3 divorces, 1 death, and a disappearance.
Drew Peterson has gone from a person of interest to clearly being a suspect.
Drew Peterson, cocky, arrogant.
Yes.
Please go home. Please leave me alone.
A convicted killer.
12 people did the right thing, oh thank God.
Serving 38 years for killing his 3rd wife. Still suspected of murdering the 4th.
Do you believe that Drew Peterson killed Stacey?
100%.
And now on trial again. Allegedly plotting to kill the man who put him behind bars.
It's this Drew Peterson story, you know, everything's a surprise. This doesn't stop.
Married to a murderer. The Drew Peterson story. May 22nd, 2015, 350 miles south of Chicago, where the Mississippi River meets the Illinois banks. Candace Aiken is about to meet up with the man she believes murdered her niece.
I want him to know that I'm still here and I'm still fighting for Stacey, that Stacey's not forgotten.
Stacey Peterson, Candace's niece, disappeared without a trace in 2007.
Yep.
Stacey Peterson, a 23-year-old mother of 2, was reported missing.
Stacey Peterson was last seen wearing a red jogging suit.
Her story made headlines.
New allegations about her disappearance.
A soap opera of sorts, Stacey was the 4th wife of Drew Peterson, who became the sole suspect in her disappearance.
I remember the last picture.
He looks like her grandfather.
And
I hate to be rude, but you were having an affair with a 17-year-old. I don't know what the law is in Illinois. You were 37. Was he 47? 47. You were having an affair with a 17-year-old. That is a minor. And you were a cop. 17. How the hell did he get away with that?
She was so full of life. So it's a very precious memory.
A memory frozen in time. Candace would never see her niece again. But on this day in court, she would see Drew Peterson.
He looked right at me and smiled and called my name. He's very jovial and, making jokes. I don't understand where he's really coming from, how he can be so happy.
Peterson is, after all, a convicted killer. In 2012, Peterson was sentenced to 38 years for killing his 3rd wife, Kathleen Savio. Now he is facing new charges, accused of ordering a hit from behind bars on one of the prosecutors who put him there.
He
was a thug.
Murder for hire.
People because he had a gun and a badge.
A conviction would mean Peterson would die in prison.
It's arrogant.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, when he retired, after Kathleen went missing, he retired and he was collecting, he was on a pension of $72,000 tax-free. He was collecting $6,000 a month. It didn't end until he was convicted of her murder. Good morning, Robin Millette. Good morning.
And cocky, self-confident.
Reporter Joe Hosey has been following the Peterson case for years.
Oh, that jacket
It was
looks
just his
horrible.
personality. He was, the best cop. He was the smartest guy.
Oh, that's right.
He
It's
was the
afternoon
best
for you
looking of
guys.
all the
Sorry.
women I had.
A confidence that started early in life. Dan Boudin first met Peterson when they worked together at a Burger King in the Chicago suburbs.
Drew was a very bright, very dependable, hardworking individual.
Something he learned at a young age.
He had a Marine father.
Yes, he was in the military as well.
And they were going out to eat. And the father warned him, be good, behave yourself, you're going to sit in that chair. And he just went off and didn't want to do it. Well, the discipline followed that.
Strong discipline that drove Peterson to succeed. In his early 20s, he joined the U.S. Army's.
So my thing is, Drea, you're right. The police union protects them. But my thing is, when he was married to Kathleen, he was a cop. He had 18 visits to the home in an 11-year relationship for domestic disturbance. He was never once stripped of his badge or taken off duty and put on desk duty until they did an investigation. Not one time.
Elite division of the military police, protecting visiting presidents like Gerald Ford.
The laying of the wreath, Drew was there at one time, and
he was cop of the year one time.
Up and tripped, and Drew was the only one in the honor guard that broke out with a chuckle and a laugh. That's Drew Peterson.
After 2 years, he left the Army and joined the Bolingbrook Police Department in suburban Chicago, eventually becoming an undercover narcotics officer. It was the perfect assignment for Peterson.
Drew was trained and was to be an expert at covering up and lying and presenting false information.
But at one point, Peterson went too far, organizing an unauthorized investigation.
There you
Drew
go.
was charged with misconduct. He did lose his job. He was kicked off that narcotics unit.
Despite being indicted by a grand jury, he fought and got his job back.
Yep.
Some say it would be only the first time Peterson got away with a crime.
Drew doesn't have a tendency to give up, and I think that's what helped him with some of these relationships. He would lock on to a person of interest.
And early on, women were definitely Peterson's people of interest.
Drew had to have a female companion devoted to him, by him at all times.
See?
Typical relationship.
Just told you.
Addiction.
I don't know anyone else who was married 4 times. Maybe Henry VIII.
Carol Hamilton was the first. High school sweethearts, they soon had 2 sons, but Peterson strayed.
I think Drew got a lot of confidence probably in working that undercover cop type thing, because it was his job to go out there and flirt and make friends with these women.
He and his first wife divorced over infidelity, which is a pattern throughout his life.
Yep.
Including his second marriage to Vicki Connolly.
Everybody says I cheated, but I went out and sought female attentions elsewhere after the marriages were over. But we were
You're
still
lying.
married.
He's lying. He never waited till the marriages were over. You were still legally married. You were still living in the home. Your marriages were not over. You cheated time and time and time again. That's what he did. And I gave you the timeline. I went through it and I found it. I wrote it all down.
Vicki was in a very serious car accident. There was some rumors, some question of whether Drew tampered with the car,
Yep.
the brakes. She also said that while their marriage was ending, she woke up one night to find Drew standing over her bed in a menacing way.
That second marriage ended 10 years after it began. But would the third time be a charm?
She was
Peterson met
gorgeous.
Kathleen Savio, a beautiful accountant in her mid-20s, on a
Gorgeous.
blind date.
This was the man that was going to be her prince.
Susan Doman remembers Peterson pursuing her sister.
When she was presented with all the opportunities, the trips, the gifts, and the home and having children, it was too hard to resist. He loved her, and that's all she wanted.
And she loved him.
Yes, very
Yep.
much.
But soon that love would once again turn to hate, infidelity, and now violence.
Yep, there you
He
go.
grabbed her wrist and he just threw her against the refrigerator hard and just went after her.
A marriage ends in murder when we come back. This is the sleepy Illinois suburb of Bolingbrook,
Bolingbrook.
where Drew and Kathleen Peterson's married life began in 1992. It is also where it would later end in 2003.
Yep.
The first day he gave her a picture of him and he was in uniform.
They met on a blind date. Kathleen's sister, Susan Doman.
My first reaction was, I don't understand why someone goes on a first date and gives you a picture of themselves to them. And she kind of just laughed it off.
But there was nothing funny about what Kathleen would soon discover. Her boyfriend, Drew Peterson, was married.
She was.
See, told you, he was married. He was married. He's always married and looking for the next victim.
I was told that he was in the process of getting a divorce. And
He
the
wasn't
person that
at
he
that
was
time.
divorcing was a cocaine addict. She was fooled.
Fooled.
He lied.
But also in love and eager to settle down. Kathleen and Drew were engaged 6 months after that first blind date and married just months after his divorce was final. But once they started a family and had 2 sons, the romance was over.
It's not all fun anymore. And Drew, I think, likes to have fun. I don't know if he loved their mother anymore.
Nope, he didn't.
Nor did he find her attractive anymore, and he didn't hesitate to say so. Saying,
she was fat. She looked like a dog. She's ugly.
Their once loving relationship, now contentious and increasingly violent. On one occasion, Savio ended up in the emergency room with a cut to her head and black and blue marks all over her body.
Again, he was never arrested. Ever.
Kathleen told Susan Drew beat her against a table.
She was very upset that Drew was never home for the children, never home for her. And when he would come home, he would lash out at her.
Hospital records echo what Kathleen told her sister. Allegations Peterson has always denied.
As a police officer, we don't have the same ability to do things as the common person.
He's a liar.
If I get involved in a domestic situation where I'm physical with a wife, I'll lose my job.
18 times. They were
As
at
marital
your home.
tensions rose, Peterson's eyes roamed. This time literally right under his wife's nose. As Kathleen and her children slept upstairs, 47-year-old Drew Peterson was downstairs in the basement, sleeping with 17-year-old Stacy Kales.
We were living separate lives in the same house just for economics.
Did you hear that? He was sleeping with 17-year-old Stacy. He's a cop. He was sleeping with 17-year-old Stacy in his basement.
I'm sure he could justify it that way now. Like everything else what Drew talks about, Kathleen, it's a very one-sided story.
Yep.
A story that 17-year-old Stacy Kales believed.
I'm not real sure what he said to her to make it okay, but Stacy was okay with that. She said that she liked him a lot.
Kathleen learned about the affair months later in October of 2001.
Thank you.
When she received an anonymous letter telling her about Kales.
She must have been devastated.
Beyond.
When she confronted Drew, Doman says it got physical.
She called me and she said Drew was hitting her and he threw her against the refrigerator. And he says that it's all a lie. They're just trying to start trouble with him.
So you talked to him about that
Yes,
letter?
he denied it. He denied it.
The
Thank you,
marriage
Michelle.
was
Have
over.
a great one.
By spring of 2002, Drew moved in with Stacy Kales, buying a house just down the street from Kathleen.
Is it fair to say that Drew and Stacy taunted Kathleen?
Yes.
Yeah, by all accounts, yes.
Yes, they did.
Rollerblading past her house, giving her the finger.
The divorce was contentious. They fought over child support and over Drew's pension.
He didn't want his ex-wife to have it. She wasn't going to give up, that she was tough and wasn't going to give in easy.
Remember, they were going to court in April. He went to talk to her. She wound up dead.
During this time, Bolingbrook police officers were called to Savio's house 18 times for domestic incidents
And
involving
she actually
Drew and
told
Kathleen.
them that he was planning to
involved
kill
Kathleen
her.
on the attack. Others involved Drew on the attack. But one stood out. July 5th, 2002.
He had broken into the house and he ordered her to sit on the stairs and he kept her there for hours, holding her at knife point, threatening to kill her.
And Kathleen didn't feel like she was getting any help from the police department, the same department where Drew
That he worked
Peterson
for.
worked.
And they would just wind up leaving. Or they would talk her into not doing anything and just saying, you know, it's just a spat.
Frustrated and frightened, Kathleen wrote to the assistant state's attorney about the abuse on November 14th, 2002. He knows how to manipulate the system, and his next step is to take my children away or kill me instead.
She begged for help. He needs to be stopped.
Nothing
What
was done.
the result of that letter?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Nothing was done.
Nothing until Monday night, March 1st, 2004, a year and a half later.
She failed to respond at the door to allow me to bring the children home. I had neighbors go into the house and they found her dead in the bathtub.
People initially suspected Peterson, but he had a seemingly rock-solid alibi. He was home with Stacy,
Of course
now
he was.
his wife. They married 5 months before Kathleen died.
Yep.
A death investigators ruled an accident, but that would soon change.
I thought that she had been murdered, most likely by Drew.
Drew Peterson's alibi and story unravels when we come back.
Okay. So we see now that what's going on. He worked for Bolingbrook. They were there 18 times. Nothing was done. She sent a letter to the state prosecutor's office. Still nothing was done. I would sue that police department. I would sue the whole damn state. They have the letter telling them he's trying to take the kids or he's going to kill her instead. Nothing was done. He's a piece of shit.
My brother texted me and he said, "We can't find Stacy." Instantly, in my gut, I knew that she was gone.
October 28th, 2007, the day Candace Aiken's niece Stacy Peterson vanished without a trace.
I thought that she had been murdered, most likely by Drew.
Stacy Ann Peterson was last seen by her husband, Bolingbrook Police Sergeant Drew Peterson.
His previous ex-wife was found dead.
Aiken was not alone. All eyes were on Stacy's husband, Illinois police officer Drew Peterson, a man whose third wife, Kathleen Savio, had been found dead in the bathtub about 3 years earlier.
I walk into everywhere I go and there's this little hum that goes through the establishment. There's Drew Peterson, there's Drew Peterson, there's Drew Peterson.
Joe
Look at him.
Hosey staked out Peterson's suburban home when news broke of Stacy's disappearance.
This morning, Drew Peterson spoke to reporters through his front door.
First few days, he was just peeking out his front door, but then he was letting people come in to talk to him.
Hosey was the first.
It was eerie. Like I had a view of the living room, and I was watching the kids watching the TV, and it was kind of strange.
Stacey Ann Peterson.
Strange because they were watching the news coverage.
She was last heard from on Sunday morning
About their missing mother.
The investigation remains a mystery.
Drew's not even paying attention to them. He's too busy talking to his lawyer and his publicity agent.
Look at the smirk on his face. That's Stacey's sister.
Everyone seemed worried about Stacey Peterson's disappearance. Everyone except
Watch this.
Drew Peterson.
Stacey loves male attention. She could be ran off with a guy, and she could be dancing somewhere. I don't know.
I was like, no, she doesn't want to disappear.
Candace knew Stacey would never abandon her children because that's exactly what Stacey's mother had done to her.
Stacey has no record of disappearing, no pattern in her life of that at all.
Instead, Candace suspected Drew got rid of Stacey before she could divorce him and fight for the kids. For years, Candace had heard about the emotional and possible physical abuse Stacey suffered.
I could tell that she was under a lot of stress. She said that he was accusing her of all these different things, and she couldn't really go anywhere or do things.
The marriage had been going through problems since her sister died.
As Peterson had done before, he denied the abuse and blamed his wife.
She changed very much, where we had her under psychiatric care, and we had her.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Problems and emotional problems that she was experiencing due to her death.
There wasn't any sensitivity to what she was going through. It's like he didn't even want her to cry or process the grief.
Candace remembers the night after Stacey's sister's funeral in 2006. Stacey begged her to sleep in her bed.
And he kept coming in there and wanting her to go. But she said no, she wasn't going with him, and she didn't want me to get out of the bed. And I was afraid.
There was unhealthiness and controlling and manipulation.
Pastor Neil Shorey was Stacey and Drew's minister and marriage counselor.
He really had a confidence and arrogance, maybe, that nothing was going to be found out that would put him in a significantly bad light.
After half a dozen sessions, the Petersons stopped meeting with Shorey.
The same issues really seemed to continue, so I can't say that anything seemed a whole lot better.
Another Peterson marriage in trouble, but this time, instead of ending in divorce, it ended in a disappearance. A case which made authorities suspicious about the death of Peterson's third wife, Kathleen Savio. Was it really an accident? Just weeks after Stacey vanished, they reopened the once closed case of Kathleen's death. Investigators exhumed her body for a new autopsy.
There are tests that need to be done that weren't done during the first autopsy.
Now, what I want to know is the first medical examiner that ruled her death an accidental drowning when she was exhumed. I want to know if they questioned him about the bruises that were found all over this woman's body and about that gash in her head. I want to know, how did he justify ruling that as an accidental drowning with the way she was laying in that tub? That's what I want to know.
Autopsy.
My children and I, we've been, believing that, she died in a household accident.
It seemed like pieces to the puzzle were starting to fall into place.
Named the lead suspect in both cases, Peterson immediately went on
Look
the
at him.
offensive. Confident, cocky, and in control.
Drew Peterson, who is a suspect in
He talked to anyone who would listen.
the third wife.
Okay.
Sounds like Scott Peterson, doesn't it?
No.
Talk to
What would you
anybody.
say to Stacey, your fourth wife? Come home. I don't believe she's missing. I believe she's where she wants to be.
Really?
Peterson's attorney Joel Brodsky and Peterson himself planned the media blitz.
Is this damage control? I wouldn't call it damage control. It's getting both sides of the story out there.
What both
But
sides?
the plan backfired.
What both sides?
January
Stacey's missing.
23rd, 2008, Peterson and Brodsky were giving an interview with Chicago radio host Steve Dahl when Brodsky suggested a contest idea: win a date with Drew.
I'll do a dating game with you.
Drew, it's up to you, man.
I don't know. It's the lawyer.
Yeah, why not?
He looked like a crumb and a heel.
Look at him.
Didn't play well.
Yep.
Didn't play well, but Peterson would have far bigger, far more serious problems, like when his own stepbrother claimed to have helped him carry a large container out of.
His brother said his helped, and he didn't know, but he thinks it was too heavy. He thinks Stacy's body was in there, but he never looked. That's why I'm playing this. I didn't get into all that other stuff.
The Peterson home.
I have no idea what anybody's talking about like that.
He says he believes that he helped you dispose of your wife's body.
And also that he helped Peterson set up a call from Stacy's cell phone to Drew's, placing Stacy near the airport around the time of her disappearance.
Everything is invented. None of that's true.
Stacy's disappearance was still a mystery, but Kathleen's death was not. February 21st, 2008, her accident was reclassified a homicide.
Thank you.
And a little more than a year later, Drew Peterson was arrested for and charged with murder.
Former Bolingbrook police officer Drew Peterson now under arrest for the murder.
Peterson was arrested in a traffic stop near his Bolingbrook home at 5.
Just watched it.
But he was still getting $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month.
On TV. It happened to be the National Day of Prayer. So it felt like a prayer answered.
A prayer for justice. But would it be served?
Yes,
the
it will.
government has to convince the jury that there was a homicide and that Drew Peterson committed.
There was no sign of forced entry. There was no fingerprints, no DNA.
Inside the trial when we come back. Sensational trial. A set of characters right out of central casting. First, Peterson's legal dream team. 6 lawyers, all extremely experienced, outspoken, and entertaining.
Hey, I need your sunglasses. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
They find this as a
At
damn
one
joke.
point, even poking fun at Stacy Peterson.
Who? Stacy who?
Stacy.
Oh my God. I
Oh,
forgot
that's
about this.
There was a lack of respect for the fact that this one woman is missing and this other woman's dead.
We never realized that it would be that bad.
Joel Brodsky was one of Peterson's attorneys.
This is the one that said he wanted to tell all of his
And
secrets.
making light of it, which I guess we were.
We're all fired up.
Peterson's team thought it was an open and shut case. Defense attorney Steve Greenberg.
Because they had nothing except for, well, you know, they were getting divorced and we don't have any other suspects, so he must have done it.
There was no physical evidence.
They were already
There was
divorced.
no sign of forced entry. There was
Stacy
no
wanted a
fingerprints,
divorce,
no
and she went missing
DNA,
2 days
no
later.
eyewitnesses. There was simply nothing to prove that it wasn't an accident.
But legendary prosecutor
Really?
James Glasgow completely
There we go. That's my
disagreed.
boy.
With 29 years of experience, there was no doubt in my mind it wasn't an accident.
So the question is, why didn't you look into it when she died? Why didn't the medical examiner do a thorough examination of that woman's body? Because 3 years later, you can still see all the bruises. And I'm sure when she got to the funeral home, they saw it there too. Bruises, 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 and a deep stab wound in her head.
That was clear.
Glasgow had one of the highest conviction rates in the state, and he didn't intend to lose this time. His opening statement
No, he's
was
not
powerful,
Scott Peterson's
claiming
father.
Peterson carried
But
out
they
his
did have a
constant
daughter. He had a
threats to
daughter
kill
named Lacey.
Savio and staged it to look like an accident. Then Glasgow attacked the police force and the investigation.
Drew was treated unlike a civilian would have been treated.
Yeah,
they let him
he
be
was.
questioned in the break room of his own police department.
Were they experts in homicide?
No, the lead investigator had never done a homicide. A crime scene tech decided very early on, almost immediately, that this was an accident and collected no evidence, preserved no evidence.
Nothing.
Didn't do much of an investigation at all.
Glasgow argued Peterson had the opportunity and means for murder, but he needed hard evidence. For that, he called Peterson's dead and missing wives. Kathleen and Stacy were brought to life before the jury through statements they had made while they were alive. Normally, this would be called hearsay and not be admissible. But this judge allowed it.
Yep.
In essence,
Get the
what you're
hearsay
basically
rule.
allowing the victim of a violent crime to do is to testify from the grave.
And what was so troubling about that evidence was that it wasn't really evidence. It never should have come in.
First to take the stand, Susan Doman, Kathleen Savio's sister.
It was scary, but I was determined.
Determined to get justice by telling the jury exactly what Kathleen had told her Drew said.
He told me he's going to kill me.
Yep.
Said he's going to make it look like an
An
accident,
accident.
and
Yep.
no one will ever know.
Yep.
As Doman spoke, a silence came
He told that to Vicky as well, and she testified.
over the room. Jurors were riveted. Peterson was stone-faced.
And he looked at me. He didn't turn away. So I looked at him briefly, like, I'm here.
He looked more tired, almost resigned to whatever happened.
Pastor Neil Shorey, who counseled Drew and his fourth wife, was next.
Yep.
Shorey testified that Stacy told him that Drew asked her to cover up for him the night
Yep.
Savio died.
He very clearly told her to lie about where he was.
Yep.
And to cover it up. And he actually said to her, this will be the perfect crime.
An alibi demolished when jurors also learned Peterson was present when police interviewed Stacy.
You know, he was right next to her, right on top of her, practically coaching her. And the fact that he was even present for that interview is mind-boggling.
The testimony, damning. Yet Peterson and his dream team were still convinced there was reasonable doubt.
No
They
reasonable
haven't done
doubt.
anything to place Drew Peterson at the scene of Kathy's death.
The prosecution rested.
I think he took Stacy out because he knew when Stacy said she wanted a divorce that she was probably going to go and tell the truth about Kathleen Savio's death. And she did tell that minister that when he came home, his clothes were disheveled and they were wet.
Defense took over and successfully started to challenge the prosecutor's lack of physical evidence. But then, a bizarre turn of events. Kathleen Savio's divorce attorney, Harry Smith, was called to the stand by the defense to discredit Stacy.
And I literally laughed and said, no, they're not.
But they were. Smith was contacted by Stacy Peterson days before her disappearance.
Yep.
The defense thought Smith would testify that Stacy would say anything to get money from Drew when they divorced. Instead, Smith testified that Stacy told him Drew killed Kathleen.
I could not fathom how it was going to help anything I was saying. I couldn't see what this was doing for their case.
It was the worst thing that I've ever been a part of in a courtroom. I mean, it was awful.
After Smith's bombshell testimony, the defense team publicly put on a brave face.
Strong day.
That's beautiful.
Strong day.
What?
They tried to recover with their final witness, Drew and Kathleen's own son. Thomas testified he did not believe his father killed his mother. His father, Drew Peterson, never testified.
It's very difficult to sit in there and see someone who you think maybe hurt someone close to you.
Throughout the murder trial for Kathleen Savio, Candace Aiken hoped for some clues about her missing niece, Stacy.
Did your eyes ever meet?
Yes.
What did you see?
Coldness.
Cold.
But were they the cold eyes of a killer?
Yes, they
the
were.
jury deliberates. A verdict is reached when we come back.
Very thoughtful, and they're going to make sure they come to the right conclusion.
As everyone waited, emotions were running high. Would Drew Peterson be found guilty of killing his third wife, Kathleen Savio? Savio's family was anxious.
We're sitting here waiting, and every minute that we're waiting is nervousness.
I was here in the beginning for my sister, and I'm here to the end.
And the end came sooner than they expected. After just 2 days of deliberation, a verdict. Outside, a crowd gathered, Inside, the jury assembled.
I was in that room in the court.
Candace Aiken was there when the verdict was read.
What was that like?
That was a very intense moment.
I remember crying before the verdict, scared to death. I heard it, and I was stunned.
It was the one word Savio's sister had waited so
Guilty.
long to hear.
I am with
guilty.
And I hugged my sister, and we said, we did it. We got him. Now he can't hurt anybody else.
Did he look at you?
No, he looked at the jury.
That is,
He stared at
oh my
them.
God, damn it, Mandy. That is the question. Now, she knew when that woman was found that he was responsible for her death. She knew it. She knew it. And I think that's why she got scared, and that's why she wanted to. But I would have never told this man I wanted a divorce. I would have taken my son and my daughter, and I would have disappeared with my kids. I would have never told him. Knowing his history, I would have never told him I wanted a divorce.
He turns to the deputies that are escorting him out. He says, I guess this is going to mess up the holidays.
That's what he said.
You know, that's Drew Peterson. He deals with, adverse situations with, by joking and comedy.
But no one outside was laughing. From the family, an emotional, bittersweet celebration.
Finally, somebody heard Kathleen cry. 12 people did the right thing. Oh, thank God.
I know that she got justice in the hands of that cold-blooded killer up there.
From Peterson's defense team, more strange humor.
And they're still smiling.
Thank you. Our next performance.
Listen to this.
And from prosecutor James Glasgow, a triumphant victory lap.
His hair is perfect.
People, because he had a gun and a badge, and nobody ever took him on. We took him on now, and he lost.
We took him on too damn late.
And we would soon learn why.
If you would have prosecuted him when Kathleen was first murdered, if that medical examiner would have ruled homicide, Stacy would not have disappeared.
When the jurors spoke out.
The lawyer's testimony was the one that got us the most.
Remember, divorce attorney Smith testified that Stacy Peterson told him Drew killed Kathleen.
I can't tell you that before Harry Smith was called, we were going to win that case, but I can tell you after Harry Smith was called, we were
I
probably
don't know where's, maybe your subscription expired.
A loss that carried up to 60 years in prison for Drew Peterson.
Maybe your card expired. I
At
don't
the
know,
sentencing
Snuggle Bunny.
hearing, Susan Doman pleaded for the max.
He has no remorse. He killed my sister. I have to live with
Did
that.
your card expire?
Every day I have to recover from that.
Peterson's silence at trial was replaced with anger when he addressed the judge at sentencing.
He got up on the stand and that shrill, kind of feminine screech that he didn't kill Kathy. That's the guy that killed Kathy. You got a glimpse into his soul.
I wasn't going to take the devil. I wasn't going to let him say that. And my reply was, you're a liar. You did kill her.
Peterson seethed, calling the trial the largest railroad job ever. He challenged Glasgow to look him in the eyes and lashed out at him to never forget what you've done here.
There you
I don't know
go.
that there was anything wrong with it.
Then he
It made
tried
him
to
happy
get a
vent.
hit
Made him happy to vent.
on the prosecuting
But his
attorney.
outburst could not save him. Almost 9 years after Peterson murdered Kathleen Savio, he was sentenced to 38 years, not eligible for release until he is 93 years old.
That was
The reason I
then.
never looked Drew Peterson in the eye.
Then he goes for
I
another
never
trial.
acknowledged his existence.
Murder for
I look him
hire.
in the eye today, and he knows that we did our job.
The But Glasgow's job was far from over. Stacy Peterson was still missing.
We have to catch our breath and begin a review of the evidence in that case.
Do you want that? Do you want Drew to be charged with the murder of Stacy?
Yes.
I do. If he is the one who has done this, I do. I do want justice. I believe in justice. And I do want justice for Stacy.
Confined away from the general population, this serial husband is reportedly looking for wife number 5.
They say Drew's getting marriage proposals. They say women are still interested in him.
Do you think he has forgotten Stacy?
Maybe he wants to, but I don't know that
He's scared they're going to find Stacy.
And Candace Aiken won't let him. She is in touch with Peterson frequently, exchanging letters over the years.
Do you sense in his writing what emotion? Anger, frustration?
Probably frustration more.
That he is not free?
Yeah.
But that is something Peterson is actively trying to change. He is appealing his conviction.
He claims that even though Drew had 6 attorneys representing him, that
Ineffective
the lead
counsel.
attorney, Joel Brodsky, was ineffective counsel. And because of that, Drew didn't get a fair trial.
That's just the typical, accusation that they make. The lawyer should have done this, the lawyer should have done that. But, it's strategic decisions as a matter of law cannot be ineffective assistance.
Defense attorney Steve Greenberg is now leading the appeal. He disagrees with Brodsky.
I played it over in my head.
And he lost the appeal.
He argued that the defense failed on many levels. First, when they called Kathleen's divorce attorney to testify.
I just can't imagine why you would ever want to call a witness to have them say that your client committed the crime.
Greenberg also argued that the hearsay evidence, all that damaging testimony about what Kathleen and Stacy told others about Drew, his behavior and his guilt, should never have been admitted.
The hearsay testimony doesn't
He had a
place
smirk on
Drew
his
at
face
the
then.
scene of the crime, if there was a crime, and there wasn't.
Peterson is confident that the court will rule in his favor.
And
They
rightly
didn't.
so. He should win his appeal.
A win that could make Peterson a free man. But not if this man has his way.
If I have anything to do with it, hopefully it will end with him getting a lot more time on top of what he's already doing.
Illinois State's Attorney Jeremy Walker has a new case against Peterson, a revenge plot, allegedly organized by Peterson from behind bars, targeting the man who put him there.
He wanted somebody killed and was willing to pay for it.
According to sources inside the investigation, authorities used eavesdropping devices and an informant to record Peterson ordering a hit on prosecutor James Glasgow.
I mean, of course, it's a surprise. But then this Drew Peterson story, everything's a surprise. This doesn't stop.
And there is the case of missing wife number 4, Stacy Peterson. Law enforcement still follows up on tips and leads, clues that many believe will eventually point right at Drew Peterson.
Do you believe that Drew Peterson killed Stacy?
100%.
This is the pastor.
Pastor Neil Shorey remembers one day in 2006 before Stacy went missing that Drew Peterson made a startling confession.
Neil, what's interesting about me, he said, I've done a lot of bad things in my life. And he said, but I've never felt bad for one thing I've ever done. And I've talked with many people. I've never heard somebody say before they've never felt guilty for anything they've ever done. I believe that in some ways he was giving the safest confession that he could give.
That's what he was doing.
An eerie confession that Shorey now believes was a warning of things to come.
It's hard. Knowing what I do now, I would do so many things differently, and that is hard. That's extremely hard.
Listen to your gut. Your gut knows. I'm so thankful for all our times that we shared.
Candace Aiken also lives with regret. Regret when she remembers the very last time she saw Stacy alive. It was just 10 days before she disappeared.
That's when I saw the fear that it was in her eyes and the stress that she was under.
Looking back, Aiken now wishes she had forced Stacy to leave with her.
She didn't feel like she had a place to go. We had said she could come
I
to
think so,
California.
ASAP. I really do.
I don't think she felt like she had a really place to go.
And now, more than 7 years after she vanished, the house Stacy called home is where her 2 children still live.
When you see them, do you talk to them about their mother?
As much as they want to talk about her, I do. We talk about good times. That's as far as we go.
2 innocent children growing up
Look
without
at
their
that,
mother,
without their mom.
just like Kathleen's 2 sons.
That is the real tragedy.
Stephen had
that
all 4 of
4
those kids.
children who don't have mothers anymore.
But they also lost a father.
Well, true. They did. They have.
Do you
But that's
believe he
his
murdered
own doing.
Stacy?
He took their mothers away.
I believe that, yeah, he did. I do.
You have to be angry.
I've gone through the shock and the grief and anger. But I've forgiven him.
What gives you the strength?
Hi, Aaron.
I believe
Welcome.
that God's going to turn this all around and bring good out of it somehow, but I really don't know how. My middle
This
name
is why
Faith,
I
and
wanted
now I
to go
think I
back
know
over this
why.
case.
'Cause
This
I was
man
thinking
has
a lot of
ruined
it.
so many lives.
Faith
And now
that
he's
one
trying to
day
get out.
Stacy will be found. Faith that one day justice will be served.
He'll be dead by then. He will be dead by then. So that is the story of Drew Peterson. But also, I wanted to tell you that even though the state had its own forensic pathologist do another autopsy on Kathleen in November on the 13th, the family had also hired Dr. Michael Batten, I love that man, to do an autopsy on her 3 days later, and he came to the same conclusion that it was death by homicide. Now, again, still don't know why. Still don't know why. This was not decided when Kathleen was murdered in 2004. Took them 3 years. 3 years. So that is Drew Peterson. I don't know. I wanted to walk that back. I really needed to walk that case back because this man is disgusting. And I was thinking about Scott Peterson. I really, really was. And I was thinking about walking that back, especially since the Innocence Project has now taken his case. And I find that still weird. I find it weird. So 2002 is when Lacey went missing. And that, think about it, 2004, Kathleen was killed. 2007, Stacy went missing. It made me think, was it a copycat of what Scott Peterson was going through at that time? I was, yes, the Innocent Project took his case. The Innocent Project took his case. Well, I don't know if Illinois has the death penalty. I don't. But they gave him 38 years for Kathleen and then another 40 years for the murder for hire against the prosecutor. They don't have 100% success rate. So I actually thought about looking at Scott Peterson's case again, because I was looking at the timeline and I was thinking, did Drew get the idea from when Lacey went missing? Lacey went missing. what was it? Christmas Eve, 2002. He married Stacy. He divorced Kathleen, 2003. Oh, I thought my phone was off. He divorced Kathleen, 2003, married Stacy. Kathleen died 2004. Lacey's missing at this time. And then Stacy goes missing 2007. Okay, Illinois abolished the death penalty. So I was just thinking about doing that, walking back that case as well. Okay, in 2011, they got rid of it. Okay, so 2010, let's see, when did they, let me see, let me look at my notes. It was 2010, I think, is when they did the indictment. Was it 2010? No. It was 2017. Yep, that's why Scott's face is on the magazine cover right now. Because the Innocence Project has taken his case. So I hate to say, I hope you guys enjoyed that, but to walk back that case, but I wanted to, because when I saw him come up on the news about a fitness hearing and, you know, they're going to decide in 30 days, his ass needs to rot in prison. So his son, Stephen, is now raising those kids. It is really, really, well, no, he was found 2012. He was found guilty. Why am I saying 2017? 2012, he was found guilty. And I really, really, really wanted to know, why wasn't that determined in 2004 that her death was a homicide? $2004. It took them to 2007. And then he got that additional 40 years tacked on for trying to murder the prosecutor. My thing is, you give him 38 years for Kathleen's death, but you give him 40 years for attempted, I guess because it's a government official, I guess. I'll let that go. And now to hear that he has women still want to marry him, are you kidding me? You got Vicky, who testified that he threatened to kill her, had put a gun to her head at least 3 or 4 times. This man was dangerous. Yes, Scott Peterson was charged for both murders. Lacey and, Connor. He was charged for both. Yes, Chad Daybell's trial is coming up in April, and I'm on that one. Well, they said on the coroner's jury, one of his really good friends was on that jury, and they found that it was an accidental death. But I don't know how many was on that. Was it 12 people? But one person, I don't know if they couldn't agree. Yeah. Yeah, but he was charged because she was due to give birth. So he was charged with both murders. Both murders. And the baby had already had a name. Did you see John Pryor try to back out? Huh? Snuggle, I'm not sure what you're saying. So anyway, that is the case of Mr. Drew Peterson. And I thought, yeah, I think I am going to walk back. Chris Watts as well. I want to take another look at Chris Watts, but definitely Scott Peterson. And then probably tomorrow, there's a few other things that we're going to discuss, but I will be live tomorrow morning. Chad Daybell's lawyer. Yes, he tried to back out of being his attorney. Yes. I did see that. And then the special prosecutor that they brought in from Missouri, I think. She's already backed out. She has excused herself from the case. So I did see that. There's a lot going on with the Bryan Kohberger case as well. No, Robin. No, I have not, Robin. But I did want to do the one on Kat, the young woman that disappeared on her trip from she flew back to New Orleans to get her car. But I wanted to wait to talk to her mom again because they found her body. And I wanted to wait before I got her, you know, just to talk to her, because she was willing to come on once before when they were looking for her body. And I still say that young woman was murdered on that property because the guy said his gate stayed locked and only his friends knew. But that entrance, I think he knew what happened. And they couldn't force them to search, but that's where she was found. Have a great day crafting with D, but that's where she was found. Matthew and Savannah, Texas. Okay. I'll take a look at that. But yeah, so I really want to look at that case, but I wanted to wait to talk to her mom because they just found her like a month ago. Yes, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, damn it, Mandy. Girl, you ahead of me. I got that one on lock for tomorrow, damn it, Mandy. I will be discussing that tomorrow during morning coffee. I got you, damn it, Mandy. I have you. So that's all I have, guys, for today. And I really hope you enjoyed it. That one is tragic. It really is. And we're going to discuss it tomorrow because the family did not know what happened to that baby until that baby was delivered to the funeral home. And the funeral home is the one that notified the family of what happened to that baby. Oh, I did do that. Savannah Soto. Yes, I covered that. I'm sorry. Yes, I covered Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerrera. I did. Yes, I did. And I covered the when they did the third arrest as well. Because someone noticed when I was covering it and showing the video that someone was in the back seat of the truck and handed them the towel. And then the woman was arrested, 3 weeks ago? Yes, I covered that. I covered it. I said third arrest made in Savannah Soto's case. Yes, I covered that. I'm so sorry. Matthew Guerrera. I didn't put the two names together. Yes, I did do that. So that's on my channel as well. I did do it. I covered that. Aaron, have a great day and thank you for coming in. So guys, have a great Saturday. I don't know who else is going live today. I really don't. I don't know. I think Angel said she might be live later on tonight. But I know I'm going to be covering a lot of Scientology stuff coming up too, because there's a lot of good shit going on right now in Scientology. And I really want to start doing a deep dive into that as well. Let's see. What else is there? I think that's about it. I think that's about it. Carol, thank you. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to Carol's channel, breakfast is, oh, I'm glad you're enjoying your breakfast, sweetie. I'm glad you're out and about. Yes. So, what else I want to say? I'm glad you're enjoying your breakfast. I really am. But Angel might be going live tonight. I know Savage says she might be going live to cover a deleted Rumble for the B. I don't know if she's doing it today or tomorrow. Savage, if you're here, could you let us know? Carol, please drop your link in the chat. Please, 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 please. Carol is getting ready to drop her link. Carol really has, it's Carol Mayhill 846. It's at Carol Mayhill 846, I think. Let me go back and look. Y'all know I just can't remember. There we go. Carol Mayhill 846. Let's see. Yep, that's Carol's channel. Hold on, I have it. See, I remembered it. I have it. I have it. I have it. I have it. Control C. Oh, damn it, Mandy had it too. Okay, I'm sitting. Oh, you're waiting on your minion to say. Oh my God, Sam. Oh my God, you have a great day too, Robin. Oh my God, Savage, not your minion. Oh my God, yes. So Savage's minion should be sending her the link so she can cover it. But I am looking forward to hearing that deleted Rumble. And I don't know, I can't stand her voice, but I can tune it out and I can hear Savage repeating what's being said because I'm dying to hear this and how it's everybody's fault. So I am actually looking forward to that. Again, if you missed the live that Angel did, she's been going live a lot lately, and I've been enjoying them. So if you're not subscribed to Angel Gotti's, please go take a, just go check her out. She has a really, really good channel. Last night, Carol, I'm like you. I fell asleep when that guy was up there. And then I woke up and then you were on the panel. So I had to go and rewind to go back to where I thought I'd stopped at. So I did. I fell asleep. I fell asleep. So, and then Savage Speaks, guys. If you're not, I'm trying to get these channels real quick before I get out of here. Savage Speaks. If you're not subscribed to Savage, please do so. Maddie Marinera, Mob Rats Exposed. Yes, these are the people that I follow. These are the people that I enjoy their content. Stand-up guy as well. I go into his chats. Oh, I saw you, Stacy. So yeah, so I follow. I really have a good time. But Savage Speaks, it's always a good time in there. And her last live was really, really, well, all of her lives are good, but the one she did the other day, I really enjoyed it, Thursday, because it was supposed to be Mayhem Wednesday or something like that, Wild and Out Wednesday, and we did it on Thursday. I couldn't listen to him anymore, Carol. Carol, do you want to come up? I really couldn't listen to him anymore because I'm listening like, what the fuck is he talking about now? And, I've heard some of him when Bambi plays him and he comes across, he's nasty, he's racist, he's homophobic. And I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't say anything disgusting on Angel's panel. I was hoping he didn't say anything disgusting on Angel's panel. I got frozen on an ad. I couldn't get back here. I'm sorry. I didn't even see the ad come up. But I was hoping he wouldn't say anything disgusting on Angel's panel. Because when Bambi plays, when she replays his stream, or when she's playing and when he's live, I'm in there and then I have to leave because I can't stand the stuff that comes out of his mouth. He's calling everybody the F word. He's saying a bunch of N's. He's saying a lot of derogatory shit, and I just can't listen. Yeah, he was. I was shocked when I went back and I was listening. Girl, you're not a crybaby. Savage, you can come up if you want to. I'll drop the link. Hold on. Let me get my link. Hold on. Let me get my link. I'm gonna get it. I got it. Oh, copy. It's been a while. Come on up. See, it doesn't show me now when the ads are popping up anymore. It used to, and I can go in and I can catch them. So maybe I changed something, or maybe something in the settings would change. Oh, Lord, you're dyeing your hair. Oh, my God. Girl, that's a charge right there. Hi, Carol. Let me get you. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Heidi. How are you?
I am great, Carol.
No, I fell asleep last night. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, anytime. Angela was up with me not too long ago. I enjoyed having her. I haven't had Maureen up lately because I want Maureen up.
Oh, she'll come up. She'll come up.
So, Carol, now that you're here, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
The night that Angel did that live and BK was up there and Silo was up there, what did you think?
I already told Angel off screen what I thought. To be honest with you, I had told Angel, I said, what you should do in a case like that is silence one and let one speak.
Yeah.
And silence the other. But like she said, she had an instigator in there that kept unmuting. And that's not right.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But you know, it's to me, you know, I know what she was trying to do. And you heard what I said on the panel when I went up the next day. To me, it was like she was being made to choose between one or the other.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing that they try to do with her with MRE.
And you see, I heard the stuff last night when I went back to listen, when whoever came up with the AI or whatever it was with the voice changer, and you know, all you have to do is denounce him. What the hell is this? Is this, I mean, and Edwin said it best. This is YouTube. This is not a court of law.
Yeah, but you know what this is? And I've already said this, you know, offline, and I'll say it online. All this is but her feelings. And you know what? Grow up. People have a channel. They can put on whoever the heck they want. Nobody should control anybody's panel.
Thank you.
And if you don't like what a content creator is doing, then don't watch.
I'll leave. If there's somebody up, and I'll be honest, anybody's panel, whether it's Angels, whether it's stand-up guy, whether it's, you know, people, I don't go to too many people's channels that put a lot of people on panel. If I don't like, well, Bambi's, if I don't like what's being said, I leave. And that, you know, you just leave. And when Marla told whoever this person was that was pretending to be Marla, well, she said, she says, it sounds like you're listening to what other people are telling you instead of going and listening for yourself. And if you don't like what's being said, leave. Just leave.
That's what I do.
And I don't like when they bring all of that shit to her channel, but that's her channel. And I'm her mod. I'm going to mod fairly. There are people in that chat that I do not like. Do you think I'm not going to sit there and block people? But that night, people were being blocked. And that's when I kept asking Angel, do you want people blocked from this? She goes, no. But if you don't like people were being blocked.
That's because she has, well, I talked to her and I told her, you know, you have some people that are sensitive, and just because they don't like other people or because something's being said about them that they don't agree with, they automatically block, and that's wrong.
No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. You know, now when someone said something last night about Lee, I removed the comment. I didn't block them because it was disgusting. They were talking about Lee and his brother. It was derogatory. It was nasty.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about Lee's brother until, you know, I knew that he had, you know, committed didn't know the whatever until Angel was telling the story last night. But I didn't realize that until I went back in. But the comment that was in that chat about Lee's brother, was disgusting. And they said something but Lee's brother, I bet he was something about, and I said, oh my God, I just removed the comment. It was disgusting. Other than that, I'm not gonna block people because I don't like them.
Right. There was some in there that I don't get along with either, but I don't say anything.
Nope.
You know, I won't block them. I won't delete them. The only time I'll delete somebody is like what you said last night, if it's derogatory or hurtful, or they're mentioning, because she's made it very clear she doesn't want anybody else coming in there, because I saw you block, deleted, announcing anybody else when they're live, or coming in there with other content creators' names.
Yep. Now I didn't know, and to be honest, when she blocked that other account, I read it. I said, "Oh, that one went right by me." I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't see the name, and because it was a long ass name, so I really didn't pay attention. And then when I said, "Oh shit," okay, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on that. But when Angel blocked something, I was like, "Oh shit, there's a problem," because she doesn't block people.
No, she doesn't. But for
doesn't.
her to do that, she caught it right away.
Yeah, and that was quick because that went right by me. And I looked, I said, hidden by Angel Gotti, and I went back up. I said, oh shit, I didn't realize. But then again, I really wouldn't know that person's wife's name anyway, because I don't watch them.
Right,
so
neither would I.
So, but I wouldn't know, but now I know to watch out for it. So I'll be doing that. But it seems like every time she's having a good time, there's always some BS that comes up.
Well, you know what that is? That's because that other, I refuse to mention his name, idiot, is doing, shows late at night about her and putting up a website. Thinks he's funny, that clown. And this is where all the trolls are coming from, because that saying, water seeks its own level. Look at the people he's hanging with. So,
and she's made it clear she doesn't care. It's none of her business. She does not care.
Right. That's how we all feel. I mean,
I feel about it. None of my business.
I made it clear on her panel. I turned around and said, whatever he did before, that's not my judgment call. That's between him and God.
Yep.
The only thing I refuse to believe, and I said that, and I'll back him 100%. He is no freaking pedophile.
No, he is not. Definitely not.
That's wrong. And the person he is today may not be the same person he was those years ago. I don't know. Didn't know him back then. Don't care.
Don't care. But the one thing I worry about, even when it comes to other people that they're calling pedos and all this stuff, you've got people out there that are crazy, that'll go do shit because of what somebody else has said. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you have to be careful about what you're doing and how you're labeling people, especially when you have no proof, no evidence, and all of this BS. So that's the only thing that bothers me. So that shit just has to stop.
Either put it up or shut up.
Try to see it. If you have it, put it out there. Why do drips and drabs and all that other stuff? But I just and when I heard that person, now, am I crazy? When did MRE said he was going to sue somebody?
He said he was going, I don't know if he used the word sue. I know he said he was going to see his attorney.
Yeah, he said he was going to see his attorney. And I thought he said because something happened with his bank account. And if it turns out that somebody is messing with his bank account, he's going to go see his attorney. I didn't hear him say he was going to sue anybody.
No, I didn't either. But and we keep telling him that he's got a case for slander, but
he does, and he's
not that way. Right.
But I know Shook said that he was going to, but I've never heard him say that. I said, well, maybe I missed the live stream, but I've never heard him say that.
No, I didn't either. I just know it was over the bank account, like you're saying.
That's the only thing I heard him say. And I was like, oh my God, who would be and that's what he said. He said he was going to go to his bank. And if it turns out that somebody was messing with his bank information because they had his social, he was going to go see an attorney. That's what he said. I never heard him say he was going to sue anybody. Hi, James Gibby. Never heard that. See, that's what I'm saying. People are, people are taking people's words and flipping them around and misconstruing things. And that's when and I'm not going to repeat something that I didn't hear myself. Point blank, period.
That's right. But you know what else too, Heidi? It's not only the content creators that are going around switching things. A lot of people pay attention to what's being said in the chat, and half the time, you and I both know, part of it may be true, but then there's a whole bunch added on. You can't pay attention to what people say all the time.
Yep, and that happens a lot. In a couple of chats I go into, you have people that are coming into the chat, repeating stuff or putting their twist on stuff that was said and making it seem like it's more than what it was. And that happens a lot. And when that happens, I'm like, okay, who cares? Who cares? Don't bring that shit in here. If it wasn't in here, don't bring it in here.
That's right.
But, that's just stirring up the pot, going from one stream to the other and just dropping false information or what you perceive or what you think you heard. But like Mandy just said, MRE said he's going to go to his lawyer. They have been going in his chat with his social and his account was messed up. But he was going to go to the bank first. That's exactly what I heard him say. I didn't hear him say he was suing anybody. It was all about his bank account and his social security number. That's what I heard.
I heard the same thing.
Missed the stream. So I thought I missed something. I never heard him say that he was going to sue anybody. Never, ever.
Those are the other ones. I was laughing the other night because I was in the bushes on somebody's channel. And I hear them before they go off. And if you feel like donating, please donate to my funds so that I have the legal funds. Get the heck out of here.
Legal funds for what?
I guess in case he gets sued for slander.
Okay, guys, can you donate to my legal fund just in case I get sued for slander and defamation? Please, don't forget, I need my gilded bird cage and my lovebirds and my coupling. Okay, all right. What?
Yeah, I cracked up so hard.
Not your check.
And then wanted people to support to his funds to help him continuing to get paperwork. You know what? Go see a head shrinker.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Is that the person's name that Angel doesn't want in her channel no more?
The litter box.
Okay, I get it. I know who it is now. See, I'm catching on because I'm paying attention a lot lately. I just realized that's who MRE calls Kitten. Am I right?
Yes.
Thank you. When you mentioned the litter box, I said, got it. Okay. Because all of these little names and stuff, I'm like, who the hell is he talking about? But okay, I know now. So you want to keep getting paperwork, but you're scared that you're going to be sued. So you want people to donate to a legal fund. Got you.
Yep.
Got you. See, I'm serious. I've been paying attention lately. Normally I just go in and listen and go to sleep. But these last 3 or 4 lives that's been going on between Angel and MRE, I've actually paid attention so I can have the history behind the stuff that they're talking about.
The only reason I even snuck in the bushes on that was because it came across my home screen that he had his thumbnail in the whole page that Angel was a rat. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to go listen to this one because he's not going to get away with this.
See, he's never come across my page. I guess because I've never went to his channel and I've never, those people don't come across. They're not even in my feed. I don't even get, it's not even a suggestion for me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you've gone in there before, maybe that's why you get those suggestions, but I don't even get those because I've never been.
Well, the funny part was I went there, like I said, in the bushes because I wanted to hear what was being said. But she had enough supporters in there that, and so did MRE that came out and were giving it to him in the chat. So there was no need for anybody else to get involved.
Okay, but don't we realize that's why they put their names in the thumbnail, because they know that people are going to come in, because that's how they're going to get viewers and subscribers, especially if they put it on subscribers mode only. In order for you to type, you have to become a member. I mean,
oh, I won't sub to that channel. I don't sub to any of those idiots.
Okay. Because that's why they do it. And I just don't understand why they keep trying to drag her into stuff when she wants nothing to do with it. But then again, they put her name in titles because they know it's going to get to her. And then she's going to feel compelled to go there and defend herself when she has her own channel and she can do it there and not give them clicks and views.
Not only that, they feel that by using her name, besides the clicks and views, they're going to get donations because they're creating all the drama. All they're doing is trying to ride off her freaking coattails. And what tips me off is that the people that are doing this are the same people she helped.
Well, from now on, Carol, no matter what I'm talking about, I'm going to put her name in my thumbnail along with her picture. No matter what. Carol, when you go live, make sure you add her name and her picture to the thumbnail too. Okay, let's do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's what they do. That's what they do. It's called riding on her coattails, and that's exactly what they're doing.
But that doesn't look good for them, and especially, okay, I hear about all the attacks. I mean, I hear them on Angel's channel. I even talked to someone one day and they told me that my name was brought up on that other person's channel saying that I was a Nazi lover or supporter, whatever. I'm like, oh my God, really? I don't really give a shit what you have to say because I don't. You can throw my name around. I don't care.
Heidi, I feel the same way. Listen, I had one of those so-called trolls. They didn't know that I was watching a replay of something another content creator posted, right? And all of a sudden I see in the comments, Carol, why doesn't your granddaughter have a father? Why doesn't your grandson have a father?
What?
And I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. And I turned around and said, hate to disappoint you. They both have fathers. But if you're smart, keep my grandchildren, my children, my husband's name out of your mouth. Because I will find out who you are and you will have a problem. Period.
I heard that for your first stream, which you didn't stay on long that time, but you were going to discuss your brother. And I'm looking forward. Well, I shouldn't say that. Okay, I shouldn't say looking forward, but
no,
I'm
I understand.
interested in that story. I really, really am.
Oh yeah, what I'm doing is I'm going through my files now because I saved the original article from the newspaper down in Florida where it happened.
Yes.
And how they identified him at the scene and exactly what happened. And what baffled me and my family was he got killed May 16th of 1995.
Ooh.
We weren't notified until May 28th.
Oh my God. 12 days.
Knew, right. You knew that night who he was.
Oh my God.
Okay?
Oh
and yeah, it's a whole horrid story, and I'll explain it on my channel.
Yeah,
and
so
then,
are you sure that you're up to doing that?
Yeah, because it's all these years later. The fact that, it also, I'm convinced, I don't care. I know my father was ill. I know he was bedridden because I was taking care of him at the time while my mother was working. But when he got news of my brother's passing, he took another stroke in the funeral parlor. We couldn't even bring him back to the funeral parlor. He just never got out of bed, and he died 3 months to almost the date that my brother died, because my brother died May 16th. My father died August 21st of 95.
Yeah, see, I think that's what took my grandmother down too. When her daughter died, my aunt had a rare form of cancer, and once she died in April. My grandmother was gone in September 7th. And I remember when my uncle's wife died, you know, he had asked the funeral home and the church not to open the coffin because her brother was there and he had been really sick. Do you know they did it anyway? The brother had a stroke. They had to move the coffin out the way, get the ambulance to come in, get the brother out. And do you know they tried to open it again and my uncle lost his temper and he went off in that church?
I believe it.
These people just don't know. No, he had already said that he didn't want it, but I am actually interested in your story, and I heard you talk a little bit about it on the panel, and I said, oh my God, I said, I don't know if I would be strong enough to discuss that, but I guess you said it's all these years later, so yes, I think you might. Well, of course you're ready because you're going to do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still angry, don't get me wrong, and you'll understand once I give the full story why I was so angry. But
12 days, 12 whole days. Dang.
Yeah, 12 days, plus the guy that did it was arrested 21 times for DUI, and they only gave him 12 years. Yeah, they let him plead out after killing 2 people and injuring 8 others. So yeah, to say I'm still angry is an understatement.
Okay, so you were listening to the story about Drew Peterson. Do you think at that time, if they would have charged him with homicide then, do you think Stacy would still be here?
Yes, beyond a doubt.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
Beyond
I think
a doubt.
she'll be here. Yep. And I forgot when they interviewed Stacy that Drew was right there. I forgot when they said that during the when they said it, when I was playing the CNN thing, when they said it, I said, damn, I forgot he was right there. It's just like Murdaugh when they were interviewing when the housekeeper supposedly tripped down the stairs. He wasn't even home, but they interviewed Murdaugh instead of his wife. So I don't know if you're familiar with that Alex Murdaugh case, but
no, that one I didn't follow.
Oh my God, Carol, I covered that before it became a national media sensation. I had that case way before the news picked up. There were so many deaths and so many people surrounding that family that lost their lives. And it was all because of Alex Murdaugh and his wife too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unreal. You know what I was following this week? Last week on Court TV, the one where the parents are charged with manslaughter.
Yeah.
For their son's shooting at the school where he killed those 4 innocent people. I was so glad.
Yep.
And I was glad they came back with the verdict they did.
Her whole, I think what really, well, not what did it in him, but when she said that she wouldn't change a thing, I was Savage, who's in the chat. She was talking about it, and I know that case was really close to her, so I didn't want to touch it because she was talking about it. But when she went to the school, I remember trying to find out when they found the drawing of the gun, and he wrote, "Help me, everything is dark." I had to ask Savage because this has been something that's close to her because it happened not too far from where she's at. And one of her friends' son was, one of his best friends were killed. So I said, did she leave the school and ever go home to see if the gun was there? And she said, no, she went back to work because her job was more important. She never once told the school that young man had a gun. He had his backpack on when he was in the office. No one ever bothered to check because the mother never told him he had the gun. that his father had bought him that gun. And then when I heard that she sent him a text, haha, just don't get caught the next time. I was like, get the hell out of here.
Exactly. That's why when they came back with the verdict they did, I was glad.
Yeah, I'm glad, but I can't wait for the father. But let me tell you, when my granddaughter, she was living in Vegas. At the time, she was 9. She didn't like her classmates in her class. She wrote a note. She did. She called it a hit list. She called it a hit list. And she wrote down her classmates' names. The teacher, she balled it up and put it in the trash. The teacher got it, knew it was her handwriting. They got her in the office, called my son off base, called his wife, if she would have been 10, she would have been arrested. And I'm like, why would you write that? She says, because they're stupid and they get on my nerves. And then I found out she was the only black kid in the class, but that's still no excuse. And I was like, oh my God. So she had to go, and they took her to see a counselor and everything else. But I told them, remove her from that classroom, because she always had the answers right. They were always picking on her. And she had this bottled up frustration. And they took her to go see a therapist. But she was 9. If she was 10, she would have been arrested.
You know, that's what I don't understand. I don't understand, like, these younger children, like you're saying now, why, if the school sees a problem or the parents see a problem, that they don't take them to therapy. Don't arrest these kids. They need help while they're young. Their minds aren't even fully developed yet.
And
That's
so,
the way I feel.
Yep. I asked her, why would you do that? And she told me what was going on. So when they went, when they went to the office, like, I think this was maybe 3 days later, because they had to go back because she had been suspended. And she had a 3-day suspension. So in order for her to come back, they had to show that they had put her in therapy and stuff. So my daughter-in-law put me on the phone so I can hear what was being said. And my son was just sitting there agreeing with what was being said. I said, oh, no. And then he jumped. So he was like, oh, God. I said, first of all, you need to talk to her and find out why did she write it. I said, I know why she wrote it. I said, don't just assume that you know what was going on. I said, she's been picked on since the time she's been in that class. She's told you, I'm talking to my son, that how she's treated by the teacher. She's told you how she's treated by these students. She's the only Black in that class, and she knows the answers, and they're calling her names. And my son he didn't say another word. So the principal was talking, and she goes, who's on the phone? I said, I am her grandmother. I said, I want her out of that class, and she needs to be removed immediately. They moved her from that class. They put her in another class, and she did the same thing. She excelled. No one was picking on her. No one was doing this. But when you're sitting there and ignoring what your child is saying, this is when shit happens. You have to listen and take action. She went to therapy when C-19 hit, and I can see they're not outside. They're not socializing. I put her and her brother in therapy virtually with the counselor in Houston. You don't do that. You listen to your kids. You don't ignore them. That's how shit happens. I did the same with my son. He was cutting up in class for no reason. He wasn't doing it at home. It was just at school. I put his ass in therapy so quick. When that doctor told me, he goes, you're wasting your money. You can keep coming, but there's nothing wrong with him. He just wants to do what he wants to do. I said, is that so? And I proceeded to start beating his ass every time he cut up. But I'm quick to take him to therapy. You never know.
You don't know. I'll give you an example. One of my sons, my second eldest, okay, when he was in first grade, he was close friends. I don't know if you remember the David Rothenberg case or not.
I heard about it, but I don't I'll have to look it up again, but I remember the name.
Okay. My son was very close with him. They were like friends in first grade. They, they went to each other's houses. I was close with the mother. The father, that you thought was an adoring father because every t-shirt he wore had a picture of him and his son, and he was attending PTA meetings and everything else, takes the kid to California, waits till the kid is sleeping and sets him on fire. This child survived. When he came back to the school, my heart broke because this poor child was wrapped from head to foot in bandages.
Oh
my son did not know how to deal with this. So I had to take my son to therapy because I wanted him to get the help that he needed. Because I didn't want, it's a complicated situation.
Yep. And sometimes they're not comfortable speaking to the parent, and they need to speak to someone that's not close to the situation.
Right. And at the same time, I was leaving his father, and I didn't want him to feel, well, if I go with my dad, this is going to happen to me. See, I had the foresight to see what was going on. So therapy is important, for kids, for all situations. I mean, a lot of times teachers overlook it or parents overlook it for whatever reason. No, when you have situations coming up, I do not believe any child purposely lies. If a child is telling you something is happening to them, you listen.
You listen to it. And that's what I was telling my son. That's why I got mad, because he's listening to what they're saying. And I had to remind him after he left that school that day. I said, if I would have listened to everything your teachers told me about you, if I didn't know you as my son, I would have believed everything that was being said. But I know my son. If you tell me he did this and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like him. But if you tell me he did something else and I know damn well my son would never do, you're not going to tell me anything about my child that I don't know. So that's what I told him. He was like, well, I said, if you listen to your daughter, I said, she was telling you a while back she didn't want to be in that class. I said, I even asked him when they told me what happened. I said, is this the teacher that she does the social studies with? And he goes, how'd you know that? And I told, because I knew, because she was telling me this. Just like we had a school, the school was on lockdown before my granddaughter left. And I had a doctor's appointment. And, I'm at the doctor's and I get the thing from the school telling me that the school's on lockdown. They're checking because of a threat that was made on social media. Well, I'm at the doctor's and I'm like, oh my God. So then I call her and I could hear it in her voice. And then I was like, oh my God, oh my God. So then a friend of mine called and she played the recording for me. I was waiting to get some x-rays done. I said, look, either you get them done now or I have to leave. I called the school. I said, I'm on my way to pick her up. I can hear it in her voice. She was uncomfortable. She said the doors to the classroom was locked, but I was like, she goes, she's good. I'm like, no, she's not good. So I went and I picked her up from school because I don't want her to be, any child to be anywhere they're not comfortable at. Just because you said the classroom door is locked doesn't mean somebody has a gun and not going to shoot their way in there.
That's true.
So I just, and then she's not used to all of that. Well, she was here for a year, but she's been going to school overseas for the longest. They don't have that over there. And when she first got here, Carol, she wouldn't go into a crowd. We couldn't go anywhere. There was a whole lot of people because of all of these shootings they were having.
Oh, I believe it. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm an adult and I won't go into New York City because of what's going on. I'm like, are you kidding me? Everywhere you turn around, you hear about these school shootings or slashings out of nowhere. The other day, some guy with a machete. I mean, come on. The world's just crazy, Heidi. It's turned upside down.
A couple of weeks back, I'm driving, and this woman she cut off some guy. The guy behind, she got in front of him. Then the guy started blowing. She started blowing. I'm right next to her. I'm like, oh my God, if this fool starts shooting. And I'm looking over at her, and she just busts out laughing. I'm like, this shit is not funny, because he could just start shooting, and you got kids in that car.
No, I know what you're saying. I argue with my husband all the time, because when he's on the road, if somebody cuts him off or does something, he starts yelling. And I told him, would you stop? You don't know if they're carrying a weapon or not. You want to get shot, you get shot. I don't want to get shot.
You want to get shot? Look, I don't want to get shot. Look, because I know I've seen so many road rage incidents, and I was all on the news, especially in Texas and Louisiana. I'm like, my God, don't they learn anything? I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. But they have a rule here. I was reading what they said about the phones. The phones, they don't take their phones at all here. They have to keep the phones on vibrate in the classroom. They don't take anybody's phones anymore. But I remember I even told them way before they started that rule, do not ever give up your phone at all. Just don't be on your phone. Don't be texting on your phone. None of that. The phone is there for you to call in case there's an emergency.
That's right.
Yep. So but I'm telling you, it's sad the way things are going right now. It's like, okay, you go in the grocery store. Right now, you go in the grocery store here. There's a cop at one entrance, and there's a cop at another entrance, because they had a homeless camp not too far away, and they were going in the store, or they were waiting outside to rob people. I'm not used to going in the store. I mean, you go in the, way back when you used to go to Macy's or Dillard's, or, and they got Neiman Marcus, there's, they got guards, but they have armed cops in the stores now. I mean,
I don't know what to say. Listen, I was at one of the stores here. They have toothpaste locked up. I was like, this is ridiculous. That something as simple as toothpaste has to be locked up, and you got to call for somebody to come and open up the thing to get a tube of toothpaste.
Oh my God. When I went to the pharmacy to get my prescriptions that first time, they have a leave, ibuprofen, all of that stuff locked up where it's not on the shelves up front anymore. They're back in the pharmacy behind the counter. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's because you know what's happening. I've been keeping up with that. A lot of them go in and rob, and when security or something goes after them, their excuse is, it's under $1,000. You can't touch me, and they walk out the door.
Oh my God.
Okay? This is what's going on. And then some of the stores like Walmart have a policy. If something's going on, none of the employees can get involved or they'll get fired. So they have security there, but security can't really touch these people. They have to wait till the local police come and arrest them. I mean, it's really crazy. I saw a woman get sick. She was taking a heart attack, fell down in Walmart. The employees couldn't even call for help. We had to call for help.
Carol, let me tell you what's so funny. So I think this was like September. I went to Walmart, and I go in and I get like a lot of my cleaning supplies and laundry detergent and stuff like that. And so I'm in there. So I done spent in Walmart that day. Probably I'm gonna be a little about $260, maybe a little less. So I go to the counter because I'm not scanning all this shit. So I go to the checkout, and now, they got the people, the Walmart greeters standing by the door. Now you can see I'm at this register because they don't look down a couple of times. Oh, I bought new pillows and stuff that day too, and some other stuff. And I think this was right when school opened too, like September. Yeah. So I go in and I buy all the school supplies and all this stuff. So I'm walking out, and they asked me for my receipt. And I looked at them. I said, I said, I'm not giving you a receipt. I said, you just stood there and watched this woman ring me up. I said, I am not showing you a receipt. So, Carol, I'm walking out and the thing goes, ding. They never even stepped to me. Killer was like, Grandma, what is? I said, I have no idea, but I don't have anything on me. They rang me up, but they forgot something. That's on them. Girl, I was so he went.
Unbelievable. Well, I'll give you a funnier one. The store was crowded, right? So I don't believe in self-checkout, but that day I just wanted to get the hell out of there. So I went to the self-checkout. I called the girl over and she goes, what's the matter? I said, I can't use this machine. The person before me, look, there's the total of their purchases. They never paid for them. They rang up everything on the self-checkout and just walked out the door.
But they got cameras on those things.
Yeah, I cracked up. I says, I don't believe this.
Did they go out to try to get them?
No, because they were already gone.
Oh my God. But no, I just refused to show them my receipt. You have no reason, unless you got me on camera stealing something. No. And like that one lady that had bought, she had bought a few things. This was around Christmas time, and they tried to stop her from leaving the store, and it was asking her for the receipt. She had her receipt. She told them she wasn't showing them. How do you have the right? You have no, and they detained her, and she actually, they got a lawsuit right now because she was detained from leaving. So basically that's kidnapping.
Yeah.
She's suing Walmart right now.
Unbelievable.
Yep. And I was just like, and I told her, I said, but it was bad because you looked there several times and saw me at that register. They couldn't put the pillows or anything in a bag. And I think I bought her a new comforter and some whatever lamp she wanted, some other shit she wanted for school and some other stuff. And you're going to ask me for my receipt. And I looked at that man. I said, well, first what pissed me off is the lady in front of me went straight through. They never asked for her receipt. I said, I'm not showing you my receipt. I said, did you ask her for a receipt? And he was like, and I said, Kelly, keep going. And she goes, but Grandma, I said, go. And girl, when I went to that thing, it went, dee-dee-dee-dee. I said, oh, shit. But I didn't think it.
They're unreal, I'm telling you.
But when
It's
I go
crazy.
into, like when I go into Macy's or something, I ding when I go in the store. It's something on my necklace, on my the wire in my bra or whatever. But I ding when I go in the store. I went into Target in Virginia Beach, a big Target when they first opened it. I just moved into the new house. I went in and I bought Nathan all new curtains and stuff for his room, new bedrooms, sheets and comforters and stuff. And I beat when I went in the store. I'm going out the store. I beat. They told me I needed to go back to the register. I said, I do. And, so the lady at the register was trying, and she goes, ma'am, she goes, we need to check. I said, I tell you what, let's get all of this shit back and put my money back on my card. And they were looking at me. That woman had to go through and she had to refund me all my money. I was pissed, but I went to another store and bought all the same shit again. I was so mad. Yeah. They told me I had to go back to the register. The hell I'm stealing for her. Yeah.
I'll make you really laugh. After I had my hip replaced, I went through one of those detectors and it went off. And I pulled the card out of my wallet because it has my doctor's picture, my name, the fact that I had a hip replacement and exactly what's in my hip.
Uh-huh.
Okay? They made me go stand to the side and waved out wands all over me to make sure it was my hip. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. What's the purpose of getting this card?
Yep.
That says you had the replacement, when it was replaced, the whole 9 yards, exactly what's in your hip. And they still embarrass you anyway.
That happened to me when I was flying out the last time, but no, I was flying home in New Orleans. I went through and they asked me to step to the side. They asked me, did I have a pacemaker or anything? I'm like, no. And I have to remember not to wear a bra with a wire, you know, like the wire things when I'm going through, because that always happens. And I was like, so then they wound me down and I was like, okay, great. But I have to remember when I go, and for some reason I was tired, I guess. I didn't remember not to wear a bra with the wire when I'm going through. But it's just little things like that. But I got in Houston, you know how they got the little thing at the airport where they check your hands for explosive and stuff, you know, they tap your hands. I'm flying to Maryland with my grandson, and there's a guy in front of me, and I'm not being, but he was Pakistani and something. He had the turban or whatever on his head. And the guy said, excuse me, ma'am. He goes, this is a random check. I said, for what? He said, for explosives. I said, are you fucking serious? I said, did you check him in front of me? The white guy behind me was laughing so hard. I said, what the hell? My grandson was like, oh no, grandma. I said, did you check him?
I don't blame you. I would have said the same thing.
Explosives. That's what I'm gonna do with explosives. How the hell, girl? I was like, are you serious? And then he was like, it's just a random check. And I did. I said, did you check him?
Unbelievable.
Heidi,
I have to go, honey, because I have to go start cooking.
You're going to start cooking. I'm going to take my butt in here and take my medicine because it's time for me to take the other one. And I'm going to lay it down because I'm actually going in the office next week. I've been home now for 2 weeks. I've been working. Yeah, I've been home for 2 weeks, but I feel a hell of a lot better, Carol. I really do. But is Angel going live tonight? I know she said she normally go live on Saturday.
She said she was going to go live tonight. That's what I had heard. And I'm going to check in with her in a little while. And but knowing her, she'll post what time she's going live. You know her.
Yeah.
She'll either post it this afternoon or about 2 hours before she's ready to go live.
Yep, I'll definitely be looking forward to it. I'll be looking forward to your stream as well. I am really excited for you. We're trying to get Maureen to do a channel. Maureen says she don't want no damn channel.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
I am better. I sound a lot better. My voice is getting stronger. It's not in my chest anymore, but I feel a lot better. So now I'm looking to rebook my trip that I had planned for Vegas that I couldn't take. So I need to rebook. And I'm waiting for my sister to let me know what dates they're going in to see if that's going to work with my calendar and what I need to do for work. So I'm getting out of here, guys. And thank you for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. Carol, you're welcome on panel anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi.
You're welcome, sweetie. Everybody
have a good day.
You too. I'll see you guys in either Savage's chat. If Drop the Mic goes live, I'll see you guys over there, or I'll see you in Angels. But I feel, or if she goes live, I'll probably see some of you over there. But I cannot wait for the trial to start for Crumbly's daddy, because I want to know what he's going to think about hearing about his wife's affair and everything else. So, and Chad Daybell's trial as well. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great Saturday. Bye.